included in the Ready Water Kit are, of course, the instructions, the water undercoat, the already mixed realistic water, a foam brush, and a scraper. My particular application is the swamp area I've had planned out for some months. And even though the kit says to scrape away any terrain, it's already free of any ground cover or things like that. So we'll just get to work cleaning it up and preparing the site. I'm okay leaving this the way it is with a little bit of residue in here from the ground cover because I want that algae swamp effect, right? And I think it'll be just fine. Well, that's been sitting just a little while. Let's see if it's any good. Dang. I don't know about that. I also bought these peel and plant tufts from a long time ago. Had them stashed away and want to add them in here. And while the undercoat is drying, I thought I'd add them in. Found that trying to use the forceps is almost a little more difficult than just placing it in with your bare hands, and it seems to be working okay. I've also added these small stones in here just to give a little more detail and provide realistic effect. So now that we've got the pond ready, this is dried overnight. I was anxious to put the water in late yesterday evening, but decided I would just wait. Besides, I wanted to add a little bit of that swamp effect in there. So I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to take the hit and see if this will work. I'm going to add a little bit of coarse turf and this blended turf to give it a bit of the swamp effect with like kind of, grass and algae and stuff like that. Now, typically when you add the water or the water effect, this stuff, I take it they want a very clean, pristine surface so nothing gets in there. But I want that, so let's see what happens. This stuff is, I don't know, a little bit old. I've been rotating it just as I've been working on the project, loosening it up. The underlayment was quite globular, if that is a word. The kit was bought on consignment, so what do you expect? But hey, if this doesn't work, tear it out and redo it. Instructions say to put this in the deepest part first and then spread it outward to the edges. So here we go, my first ever resin water effect attempt. This stuff is really gooey. I hope this smooths out a little bit. Gonna be a little bit bold. Do something like this. I guess if it doesn't work, this is what they make the Sawzall for. I think we're gonna have just enough after I've scraped every last little bit out of here that I can. And yeah, definitely want to go any more or have a larger area to cover. I'm also trying to be very careful so I don't get the rocks pulled up so they look like they're floating in the water. But overall, not too bad of an effect. Okay, so living dangerously. And try and put a little bit of this again on the outsides. Like moss and algae kind of stuff collects at the edges of a swamp. I think it should look all right. Yeah, I'm digging it. That's not bad. Say, I'm doing this for the benefit of you, so you don't have to wreck a $14 ready water kit. This is always fun. This is part of why we do this, is see what we can achieve and what works and what doesn't. I kind of sound like Bob Ross there. So now with just a little bit of the ground covers added, mostly in the edges of the swamp, I think we're getting our look that we want. One thing I see it could be a concern, I'm not sure if it's visible here, but what I put in earlier, you're starting to see a shadow. I have some pretty good light over this table so I can see what I'm doing, and I hope that doesn't become an effect. But one technique you can use to give depth to your water is obviously make the center or the deepest channel the darkest in the underlayment and then go lighter. But I kind of like this look as I put this ground cover on. It looks a little darker on the edges and then kind of more of the watery part of the swamp, more towards the middle. I think that looks okay. So it's been approximately 2 months since we did this work, and revisiting the swamp area, I am very happy with the results. Adding the ground cover did result in a little bit of bubbling, but it looks okay in this instance. And though I'm infuriated by my white that still shows around the area, I'm happy with the swamp. I've also added these small stones in here just to give a little more detail and provide realistic effect.